So I want to point out the practice exam is up on Canvas. It's in Discord also. It's on one sheet for now. The actual test will have plenty of space, but I didn't want to give you a bunch of paper you needed. There are 4 questions. There is a question about question 1 on what does orientation and reference point mean. I wanted to point out what it means just so like there's no confusion. If we have some line, we got to have some point to start our vector at, our stuff at. Do we call this T0? Do we call this T0? If I just say T0 and don't give it a reference point, we don't know which one it is. So we set T0 to be a specific point, and that makes it so that the equation works. The other ones go away. In this problem, T0 is 7 and -9. So we've got a reference point. Let's say these are, I don't want to make it evenly spaced.
I can't see anything.
Oh, shit. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so we got some curve. We pick a point to be T0. This could have been any point. I could have used a different number along the curve, but this wouldn't say 7 and -9. So as it is, we've chosen 7 and -9 for the starting point on this curve. Then T0, like T1, T2 could be way over here. It has an orientation or direction. That's what the orientation part means. What direction is time forward in? When you switch to S, S0 should be the same as T0. You should start at the same point. Now, time doesn't necessarily have the same steps along the arc or the path, but S0 will. So that might be S1, S2, S3. They are definitely, if they happen to match up as T1 and S1, it's coincidence. But that's what I mean by orientation. Time is increasing from here from left to right, so is S. If it was increasing the other direction, we would have S increasing the other direction. As if you keep the same orientation in terms of T and S, you shouldn't have to change anything. When you solve for S, when you do the arc length formula, whatever S you get is good. If it were to go the other direction, you change the sign. But as it is, keep the same orientation. It means just don't change shit. That's what all that meant for the first practice exam question. Now to our warm-up. Is there any questions about that before I strip it away? Okay. Here's your warm-up problem. We'll do curvature for a little bit, then we're going to dive into 12.6.
I always forget about that.
As a public service announcement, we do have voting in November. If you're old enough to vote, you might want to. And if you're not registered, you still have time to register. Because the future of this country is in your hands a hell of a lot more than mine.
Did he say you have time to age? You have time to age. So you can register to vote. I like misunderstood. That's what I heard. I mean, I guess. So I got to wait.
As a reminder, a handy thing for kappa, the curvature,
Wait, it's not 12.
is and those are all magnitudes. Maybe I better draw magnitude in.
That you.
I found out yesterday I'm hella old. Half my students don't remember Christopher Reeve. They weren't even born when Christopher Reeves was Superman. Christopher, the original Superman died before half of you guys were born. That just wrecked me. Oh my god damn.
You need to wait.
I mean, I don't really know actors to begin with, so. My sister got so cubed at me when she first told me when I said I didn't know who Beyonce was.
If you don't know who Beyonce is, that's just on you. Christopher Reeve has died 18 years ago.
Well, I think I've even heard of Christopher Reeve, but like I just don't pay attention to actors and such.
No, we use.
So what are we getting for R prime and R double prime before we go on here?
Oh, is he gonna do it that way? Use that one? I was gonna use the T.
Yeah, you can do it. They're both good ways. It's just depending on what else you can get. You're also trying to get from the problem. So if you're also trying to get T or N, then yeah, it's definitely a good way to go since you already have T because you're already looking for it. But this is one way if you're just looking for curvature.
Yeah, that's another way as well, but I'm not doing that way right now. Finding T is more pain in the ass than you need for this. Because let's face it, dividing by that magnitude of R prime in the first place and then taking the derivative, that's where you can get a sucky step. But going from R prime to R double prime, generally you don't have that.
Very done. Damn. Spoon makers. So spoon or something.
Is that what you guys got for R prime and R double prime?
It looks right.
Looks about right.
Oh, I kind of forgot the one.
Yeah, the one's a little important. You don't want it to be a 0.
Just looking at ones like binary. It just disappeared. It just disappeared. Yeah, that's my habit. Which is it? In the morning. I wish they disappeared. Yeah.
Oh, this is ugly, isn't it?
Don't worry, it's trig functions. They'll clear up somehow.
Bad choice.
Oh yeah, I see some stuff clearing. We've got negative cosine squared minus sine squared. That should be just -1. I'm done with it. And that's r prime cross r double prime. Note the negative, of course. Now we want the magnitude of that. What do we get?
There's I think Benjamin put something in chat.
You make me looking rather than. Oh, that's a good question. Why? It was more practice to get good. But yeah, for this problem, we actually don't, since we have everything we need, we don't need to, we could have just plugged in t = 0 before we did the cross product, which would have made a lot of that easier. I will do that now. All right, so what is our r prime cross r double prime evaluated at 0? This is, we got negative sine 0 plus 0 cosine 0 is 0. On the j hat, we've got, there's a negative, there's cosine of 0, which is 1, and then that's 0, so -1. And then kappa is or k is not kappa, k is -1. So the magnitude of that is √2. And if we do r prime of 0, we just have 1, 0, 0. So its magnitude is 1. And I'm avoiding, I should be writing this stuff in here, but in terms of saving time, I know you guys know how to do the distance formula. So what do we have? We have this divided by the bottom cubed. Kappa is √2 over 1 cubed, which is √2.
Yeah, it's just, it's because
You don't add them.
No, you don't add them, you subtract the second one. And then
How did I have that worded on the exam? Is that doable on the exam? Yeah, you can do something similar on the exam.
Just plug in 0.
Plug in 0.
Yeah,
Plug it in now. Plug it in here.
Yes. You can go either way. This is your structure. After passes, what is it? After you found the R prime key and R double prime, you could have plugged in 0 for both of them and then find the cross product, and it would have been easier for me to solve. This was just more practice.
Yeah, so what Ben was saying is before I took the cross product, plug that 0 in. So r prime of 0 is 1, 0, 0. R double prime of 0 is, we got 0, -1, and 1. And then do the cross product there. And in the I hat, we got 0. In the j hat, we've got 1. And in the k hat,
You need to bring up the screen or the whiteboard.
and in the k hat, we have -1. So 0, -1, -1. which is what I got right there.
Done.
And it makes doing the cross product a little bit easier.
1, 0, 0.
Good catch there, Ben. You should get a cookie for that, Ben.
And that's 1.
So if I put it in this also same thing, so that's where negative plus this or minus sign. But equal 0. But this one also.
Does anyone need that up longer?
So that's the difference. Do you have that up? Or you
Well, we did the magnitude of it.
Yes, you find the magnitude of that cross product.
This is a 12.6.
Negative.
Oh, so. It's just gonna end up being root 2. And then trying to implement your curvature when you.
They'll do this. They like that.
That's supposed to be, that second one's supposed to be a VHD.
Yeah, I realize that sure as hell looks like an R, doesn't it? That's supposed to be a B. And you probably have to do them in the other order, so maybe I'll put them in the other order. Because you kind of need to find B of T before you can find R of T.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, we have that.
Yeah.
Alright, so I gotta put them in though.
Yeah. And then you just plug it into the curvature. It should be.
So if you haven't watched the lecture notes, what the process here is integrate to find B of T plus C.
Better with that.
Yep. Oh, well, it's
Use initial conditions,
It's 0, 1. So,
initial velocity to find C.
it's not- yeah, it's all- sorry.
Let's call it C1. Then we will, once we have that, we'll plug that in and B will be complete. Then we'll integrate the complete B. To get R. And we'll have R of T plus a second constant. And then we use initial position to find C2.
Mr. Jones, your problem was so difficult. Lawrence's tablet crashed.
What's the last name? That
Jackpot.
is that Nancy? Can't even read that.
Or was it just out of charge?
Which part?
Or after given N key, that N key.
Lovely.
The vector
I-
VT and RT given A of T.
Oh, that's A. Yeah, that's weird. That was NFT. Like,
That's an A for acceleration.
that
Watch
makes
the
more sense.
videos.
No, I did watch the videos. I watched all of them.
He was
Okay.
just misreading it. He was just misreading what you wrote.
It looks like an N to me from here. I'm like, what?
What looks like an N?
Your A. What's supposed to what you made an A looks like an N from here. I'm just blind.
Don't worry, I am too. I have to have thoughts or else I can't see the board. I mean, I was like maybe like middle of the class last semester, like it was pretty close to the board. But I'm like looking at the board without my glasses. I'm like, is that a negative or an equal sign? I put my glasses on. It's an equal sign. Like, oh my gosh, I'm blind. Don't worry, you're not alone.
That's what my doctor says. My doctor says I have 20/20 vision.
Bunch over and over. Like, can I write this?
You must be freaking tweaking.
It's just a thought, I can do the bunch.
C. I'll take it easy.
Right.
What do I get if I integrate?
Sure.
We'll try to write down the cross.
I think I would.
I guess the initial value. Or important. I hate that format though, but I think it's stinky.
I do that right?
Oh, I see it, yeah. Looks right. Yep, looks right.
I'm gonna just start asking that. I found too often that if I do something and I fuck up my arithmetic, students won't tell me for like 10 minutes and let me do the entire problem. Go, wasn't that a fucking 3 back at the beginning? Yeah, why didn't you say it then? So I'm just gonna ask if things look right. All right, so we've got our B of t, but we don't know what that. There's some initial conditions that we need to apply. So let's apply that. If I plug in b of 0, let's see, let's get another look at pretty pen. I've got another pretty pen here. Yellow is not gonna stand out. This isn't really pretty, but we'll go with it. If I plug in 0, what do I get here? I get -1/1 for my j hat, which is -1. And I get 1/2 for k, right? And I still got C1, but that should equal, this is V0 by plugging 0 in. This should equal my initial conditions, which is 3i minus j. Or 3i minus, not plus. So if I isolate C1, which is what I should be doing here, I get, we're going to add 1j, we'll put that with the j. And I'm going to subtract 1/2 a k, and we'll put that with the k's over here. So C1 is 3i 0j and -1/2 k. So that's going to give me my full V of t right here. My full V of t is 3. That, oh, sorry, yeah. And then this doesn't change. It's 0 minus the -1/t plus 1. And then k, I've got -1/2 plus 1/2 1/e to the 2t. I know I can put the 1/2 and 1/e to the 2t together. I think it's easier to leave it separated for in terms of integrating. Let's see if I can make that look a little cleaner. Shit, that looks like tau. Oh,
But don't you like finding torque in a velocity problem?
right. Tensor notation gets. Now we need to find r, and so we can integrate that bad boy. What do we get? We get a 3t. What do I get for this? What's the j component?
Negative log of t plus 1.
Absolute value.
We do this again. This should go to a -1/4. 1/e to the 2t. And we have another constant vector from integration. Almost done there. So we evaluate R at 0. 3 times 0, I'm plugging in zeros for t, 3 times 0 is 0. Natural log of 0 plus 1, natural log of 1 is 0, so negative 0 is 0. And I've got, that should say negative 1/2 t. That doesn't look like a negative, so I'm gonna rewrite that a little bit, make it clear. I plug in 0 there, I got a 0 minus 1/4, 1 over e to the 0 is 1, so just minus 1/4 plus C2. And that should equal my R naught from up there, which is 2K. 002.
That's
Everything looking good so far?
that neon. I can't see the neon at all.
Oh,
I don't know.
oh, you really can't see. Let me try pulling down the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they're not available though. Yeah, I still can't read that.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Any
It's not that
classes-
I can't read it. I can see it. I just don't know what it is. What's the,
Which one?
is that a 3? Next to this?
There's a lot of threes.
Why don't you try sitting up here?
No, I mean, I can't even read it if I'm like right here. Like, what does that say?
That's a 3i.
It's a 3i. Oh. I can't.
Try dimming the lights. Maybe it's a light.
I already did. I already did. It's
I don't want,
already.
I don't want to see this, but it's. I can't read it. I can't read. I can't read
Yeah,
your
don't
handwriting.
worry, it's AI recognition is having a problem.
I can't read this. I can't read the handwriting. At least for that specifically. Most of it's I can see.
That's the one that really got the 3.
I think it
You
was-
can't,
I think
that's the one you
the
can't
carrot.
read.
No,
Oh,
the
the carrot.
above that, the carrot that's connecting to the 3. It was really. They were touching each other, so I was like,
Oh.
that one right there was really. I was like,
Talking shit
confused on
about
that.
handwriting.
yeah. It looked like a pie almost.
It's back in past getting harder.
So
All right, so we find C2, we add, do the opposite of this to both sides. And we get C2 equals 0, 0, and 2 1/4 is 9/4. So finally, R of T
Wait, wait.
is 3T.
I don't know how to add.
Wait,
2, isn't that minus 1? Or do I not know?
no,
It's
he's adding the 1 plus to the other side. No, that looks right.
Usually the result in my.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, I knew that.
So I've got 3T. I've got negative natural log of T plus 1. And I've got negative 1/2 T minus 1/4. I'll write e to the negative 2T now. And then we've got plus 9/4 from my C2. So that's the position vector, and we found the velocity vector earlier.
Last week, the position or something, they give me that, so I can.
Oh, man. I mean, it may not look pretty, but I think it certainly could be worse.
But that was not bad at all. All
No.
the integration was easy. There was no real algebra to do. I mean, you're not gonna get easier than that. Not in Calc 3. You're not in kindergarten no more. We gotta actually do some calculus. Is there any
Hey,
questions
don't-
on that?
Don't worry. I suddenly started, I still kind of refer to the KCF when I was in grade school when it comes to dividing fractions. Those are the days. Way to do
James
that.
looking bored. I don't want to keep James bored. James, help me find the tangential and normal components of acceleration. And for those of you that have been slacking and did not watch the video, A of t is v dot a over magnitude of v. And an is, there's a couple ways to do an, v cross a, magnitude of that, over magnitude of v. Ooh, look at the fine tip on that one. These are a nice set. These are ones I bought, not the school bought. That black line, oh yeah. Apparently I need to buy more and not use cheap school fucking markers. The brown one is mine also, from a different style. Of course, they buy them for using on a whiteboard in classroom where people are sitting 60 feet away and you need to have big writing.
Yeah. And at the same time, they still have those small, really small markers.
Right? That last problem and this problem is assuming something that I don't, maybe if you didn't watch the video and you haven't taken physics, ddt of r or position is velocity, and ddt or the time derivative of velocity is acceleration. And that we were working backwards on the last step. Here we're going to work forwards. I'm making an assumption you knew that in the last problem, and if you didn't, that problem probably got made a hell of a lot less sense.
You really want him to spend the next hour proving that the derivative of the position is the velocity?
No, it's conceptual. There is no proving it. A change in distance over time is the definition of speed. Velocity is just speed with direction. It's the definition of velocity. So there's nothing to prove.
Speed with extra steps.
And a change in speed is acceleration. That's the definition of acceleration. You don't see a lot of prove on my stuff, exams and stuff we do in class.
If we do, we can just say, you know, there's nothing to prove.
Although I will tell you, am I recording? I hope I'm recording.
Yeah, you're recording.
All right. The extra credit on the exam is a prove type problem. That way you can see what the outcome should be, and your job is to get there. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be glorious.
I heard about
Is
that.
it possible?
Is that for the curvature where you
Oh, no, because I
you
did that
use one of the
question.
formulas and then you do the other formula to
You
prove
look for a
this?
right, I tried.
This, I don't think this has anything to do with curvature. These are two equations on their own.
I was talking about the
Right now,
what he's talking
it
about.
comes, come up with something.
This-
similar.
You gave him the whole question.
Like a
No,
butterfly
I didn't give you the
question.
whole
Yeah, you said that.
question.
You
You
said
didn't-
that.
Oh, I don't know if curvature has anything to do with that.
Then I came over and showed my picture. which made it make more sense.
Well, 60% of the fault.
So were you able to,
60%.
so were you
So
able to
what's-
prove that an apple falls to the ground?
They're, I'll use Sir Isaac Newton's.
What's B and A here?
Probably didn't go calculator.com.
3t squared, 2t.
And I'm gonna put 0 because if you only have 2 dimensions, you need a third dimension to do the cross product. That says A of A, like a champion.
Can we use Wolfram Alpha on the test?
What?
Can we use Wolfram Alpha on the test?
Well, I got you repeated it.
If you have Wolfram Alpha downloaded into your brain, you can.
Oh my.
I don't
God.
give you questions like Quinn does. Yeah, I'm flaming Quinn again. I give you stuff you should know, be able to do. Have you seen me throw any inverse hyperbolic trig functions at you? No. Why? I don't remember the derivatives and integrals of those. So why am I going to expect you to? It's important that you've seen them, but you've seen them in Calc 1 or Calc 2.
They're somewhere buried in my notes, I'm sure.
So, yeah.
So what do we got here? What's the other piece of information we need for both of those? We need the magnitude of B. And we can do everything else. Acceleration in the tangential, it is tangential, not tangential. I looked it up. It's IAL at the end. V dot A, we'll do the tangential. V dot A, what do we get when we do V dot A? We have, I'm going to write it out because not everybody did this great on the test.
Isn't it a scalar? It's a scalar. We're gonna get a scalar value.
And we still have that over the magnitude of V. I'll leave that as magnitude of V until I get to my final form.
Oh, yeah.
Final form.
This is my final form.
That's right. I'm like a boss. 18t cubed plus 4t all over 9 squared and 9t to the 4th. I don't know that I like 9t to the 4th. I'm going to rewrite that because that's just sloppy work right there. I can factor out a t squared, and this becomes the absolute, well, that's not any better now that I think about it. Absolute value of t. And then we got 9t squared plus 4.
Do you have a particular t that you're going to? Because you're using t equals 1, right? So you probably don't have a negative
I'm not
t,
using
so
t
you probably
equals
assume
1.
that it's positive.
There is no t equals 1 here. I wanted you to find it in general.
So no canceling t out.
No canceling t out.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, I guess that does assume that we can, we don't know whether we're talking about, like, I guess it depends on our point of reference in terms of time. Because a negative t would just be like somewhere in the past of it.
So now if we do A, so what is V cross A? And my I could let's put IJK up here and make a vector or a matrix, and I want to rewrite it. So my I component is just flat out 0. My J component, which will be negative, is also flat out 0. My K component is 6t squared minus 12t squared is negative 6t squared. The magnitude of that is 626. I guess I had an. I'll leave it as an. It's the magnitude of this divided by the magnitude of b. The magnitude of that is just going to be the positive version.
That's
I mean, this ends up being the square root of 36t to the fourth,
Sometimes I'm
which
like,
is
right.
technically 6t absolute value of t squared, but anything squared is positive in the real number lines, not complex numbers. So that t squared, the absolute value is not necessary. Which means my acceleration vector up there, a of t,
Oh, I'm stupid.
which
I did the
equals,
Magnitude of R. So, wait, no.
can be written as a sub n, which, or a sub, let's do a sub t first. It can be written as 18t cubed plus 4t over the absolute value of t, 9t squared plus 4.
this is the original problem.
No, no.
Yeah, the one is doing right now.
Times the tangential vector
T cubed plus T squared.
plus 6t squared cubed. 6t squared over the absolute value of t squared and 9t squared plus 4 in the normal direction.
You can't.
But time can't be negative.
Well, it depends on the reference point. If you're if
Time can be negative, and these not time can be negative. You were born negative years ago.
Yeah, if you base time as equal to 0 as the present, then past would be negative, future is positive.
Right.
Makes it the-
Yeah. So you take that and you just shift it in. So you find the buffer.
Why do you have, so that T of T is that direction at the end, and T and T of T?
Which has a down.
T,
Or what is-
that's the tangential vector.
Would be an A, and then
Tangential vector, normal.
and then
No, I don't feel bad.
So the general form of the acceleration vector can be written as a sub t times t plus a sub n times n.
Yeah. So you find V dot A.
The tangent, you know, the r prime over magnitude of r prime, that tangential vector. I just didn't make us calculate it here. If you wanted to, if we had more, maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll do a problem where we calculate a sub n, a sub t, and E of t, and if I could have done the entire test in like 2 problems. I could have done like, I could have done it in 1. I could have made you switch to arc length, then do a problem like this, find t, n, and b, and then break down a into t and n. Oh, that might be next problem for the entire exam. Just don't fuck it up.
Yeah, that sounds great, but don't do it.
I'm not gonna do that's yeah, that would be, I don't want to grade that. That means every test is gonna be unique. I'm thinking I'll find out if 4 was a bad idea. I think 4 is easier for time constraints for this exam because problems do take a little bit longer. That's why there's less. Chapter 1, that question, dot product and cross product tend to go pretty quick if you know how to do them, if you've been doing your work. What the hell is that? Chip in the lame. And that's it for today, unless you guys have any questions. The practice exam is up. You can find it in the announcements on Canvas, or if you're in the Discord channel, I did post it there. We will be going over it, not tomorrow, but Thursday. And now that we've covered what we did today, doing like a problem like this, you have everything you need to know to do everything on that practice exam. But do not neglect the other problems in 12.6 just in favor of this. Just because I can't test you on everything in 12.6 doesn't mean we won't see this stuff with B and A again.
Because their shop your head was.
So what you're saying, we can do this class tomorrow?
Oh, pretty much.
Well, Lawrence,
I said, what you're saying, we can do this class tomorrow?
I still can't hear you. Every time you talk, Brandon talks.
He's asking
like-
if that means he can ditch class tomorrow.
You never have to show up to class
Oh, yeah.
or any of your
Okay,
classes.
never have to.
you never have to show up.
Yeah, I mean, that was the issue.
Yeah, the school has your money already. Whether you continue to work for your education is up to you.
So
Have a
I
good
was
day,
thinking
guys.
about- Yeah. So I was thinking
Janet.
about,
Andrew, I hope you feel better. I think Andrew just took off.
so Mr. Jones, I was thinking about, because I get such low foot traffic into my SIs. I'm thinking about putting like, while I'm in my SI, put out a Zoom as well. Since it seems like there are gonna be some people that are just straight up home.
That's a good
That
idea.
That might help with, at least with accessibility for some people. Because it might just be, well, the fact that it just doesn't work for the schedule.
Right.
Or
I
just leave it.
would encourage you to do that.
All right, then I'll have to figure out things that. I'll figure it out.
If you want. No, I don't know that. Your next one is on Friday, right?
My next what? Oh, yeah, my next one's on Friday.
Let me see if I can set it up through the Tech Connect and actually make it in the class.
Okay.
And I'm sure I can. The question is if I can open up a different Zoom while that's open. Because I have tutoring hours on like the Monday class. I have
Oh, I
tutoring
see.
during the same time you're doing it. I need to test it. Just shit, I might be able to test it tomorrow morning by having this open.
Well, and I'm
in a different
wondering,
Zoom.
if people are seeing my announcements on Canvas.